What if the weight you carry in a life you didn't choose wasn't random fate, but a hidden design? Most of us live our lives inside an invisible prison, not one made of walls or bars, but of thought. A prison built from the belief that time is only moving forward, that who we are is fixed, and that our choices are locked inside the story of our past. Day after day we wake up, follow routines, and go to sleep, often without realizing that we're repeating the same loops, like characters trapped in someone else's script. This is the trap of linear thinking. In it, life feels like a straight line: birth, survival, struggle, and eventually an ending. And in this line, fear and limitation thrive. Fear of running out of time, fear of making the wrong move, fear of never becoming more than what we already are. But what if that's not the truth? What if time isn't a straight line at all? What if awakening your higher self depends on learning to see differently, to think in what some call the fourth dimension? Here's the secret. Without this shift, we remain stuck in cycles of fear, routine, and limitation. But when we step into 4D thinking, the walls of that prison begin to fall. And that's when awakening truly begins. When people hear the phrase fourth dimension, many picture science fiction movies, wormholes, or futuristic gadgets. But 4D thinking is not about fantasy or technology. It's a way of using your mind differently. Think of it as a sacred technology of consciousness. It's not about leaving the world behind, it's about changing how you see it. Most of us live in what can be called 3D thinking. In 3D, we see life as physical, limited, and ruled by survival. Everything is measured by cause and effect. If I work, I'll get money. If I rest, I'll fall behind. If I fail now, I lose forever. It's heavy, rigid, and keeps us stuck in now or never thinking. In this mindset, the past feels like a chain, and the future feels like a cliff. 4D thinking is completely different. Imagine time not as a straight line, but as a spiral. In 4D, the past, present, and future are not separate. They're connected, like threads in one great web. You are not only the person you've been or the person you are right now, you're also the person you are becoming. And all of these versions of you are communicating at once. This way of seeing isn't new. Ancient shamans and mystics spoke about time as a living cycle, not a ticking clock. Indigenous cultures tracked seasons and life events as spirals, always returning, yet always evolving. To them, every moment was part of a greater rhythm. Modern science is beginning to whisper the same truth. Psychologists now study how our sense of time shapes memory and decision-making, while physicists suggest that the past and future might be more fluid than we think. Here's an example to make it real. In 3D thinking, if you've always been shy, you might believe, that's who I am. I'll never change. But in 4D thinking, you understand that your future self, the version of you who speaks with confidence, already exists. That self isn't a fantasy. It's waiting in the field of possibility, and by aligning with it, you start pulling it into your present reality. Another way to look at it is like radio stations. In 3D, you're tuned to only one frequency, so you think that's all there is. In 4D, you realize there are many stations broadcasting at once, past, present, future, and you have the power to change the dial. This is how you step out of the prison of limitation and begin to awaken your higher self. So, 4D thinking is not about escaping life, it's about expanding it. It allows you to see your story in full, not just the page you're standing on. And once you step into that awareness, you realize something profound. You are not trapped in time, you are shaping it. If 4D thinking allows us to see that we are shaping time, the next question becomes, what exactly is time? Most of us imagine time as a clock on the wall, ticking second after second. But modern science and ancient wisdom both point to something far more mysterious. Time may not be a straight line at all. It may be a field, a space we can move through, interact with, and even reshape. Let's start with science. In quantum physics, there's a strange idea called superposition. It suggests that multiple outcomes can exist at once, and only when we observe do they collapse into one reality. In other words, the future is not fixed. It's a range of possibilities. Quantum field theory goes even further, hinting that all states, past, present, and future, already exist in a larger field. That means the future you long for isn't something you create later. It's already alive in the fabric of reality, waiting for you to tune into it. Neuroscience adds another piece to the puzzle. Studies show that our brains don't simply record time like a camera. Instead, they construct our sense of time based on memory, attention, and emotion. This is why an hour can feel like 5 minutes when you're joyful, but 5 minutes can feel like an hour when you're anxious. Time bends according to perception, which means the way you experience reality is not locked. It's elastic. Let's look at the mystical side. Ancient traditions describe time as a spiral or wheel. Indigenous cultures spoke of the great circle of life, where everything returns, but at a higher turn of the spiral. Mystics in many traditions believe that unresolved trauma from the past doesn't just disappear. It echoes forward until it is healed. Modern science now echoes this with epigenetics, showing how unhealed emotional pain can literally alter how genes are expressed and passed down through generations. Here's the profound bridge between science and spirituality. Time is both a spiral, as the ancients taught, and a field of probability, as quantum physics suggests. This means your higher self, the most awakened version of you, already exists within this 4D field. It's not some distant dream you hope to become one day. It's here, now, in the field of possibilities. The task isn't to create it, but to align with it. Think of it like this. Imagine your higher self standing at the end of a hallway filled with doors. Each door represents a choice, a version of you, a path. Your higher self is already in the room you long to enter, calling you toward it. The more you learn to think and act in 4D, the more those doors begin to open. FF time is truly a field, and your higher self already exists within it. How do you step into that awareness in daily life? The answer lies in practicing what I call the 5 keys of 4D thinking. Each key opens a door to higher consciousness, not in theory, but in practical ways you can use right now. Let's take a look at each of them. 1. Self-observation. The first key is learning to see yourself clearly. Imagine holding up a mirror, not to your face, but to your thoughts and actions. Most of us live on autopilot, reacting without realizing. Self-observation is pausing long enough to notice, why am I feeling this? Why did I respond that way? The power here is simple. Awareness breaks cycles. When you watch yourself without judgment, you begin to see patterns that no longer serve you. This is the first step out of the prison of routine. 2. Intention planting. The second key is planting intention instead of drifting. In 3D, we often react to life. Problems push us, people pull us, and we get dragged along. In 4D, you flip that script. You begin each day by planting a clear seed of intention. It could be as simple as, today I choose peace, or as powerful as, I choose to align with my highest self. Intention is like programming your inner compass. It directs energy before events even unfold. 3. Breaking invisible chains. The third key is breaking free from limiting beliefs and old narratives. These are the silent programs passed down from family, culture, or painful experiences. I'm not worthy. People like me never succeed. These chains live deep in the subconscious, shaping choices without us even realizing it. In 4D, you begin to question them. Is this really my truth, or just a story I inherited? Every chain you break frees energy that was locked in fear and brings you closer to your authentic self. 4. Soul alignment with others. The fourth key reminds us that we don't awaken alone. Just as one candle can light another, your field expands when you connect with awakened people. This is not about cliques or superiority. It's about resonance. When you share space with those who live in alignment, your own vibration rises naturally. In 3D, relationships are often about survival or convenience. In 4D, relationships become mirrors, reflecting the soul back to itself. 5. Acting in coherence. The fifth key is coherence, aligning thought, emotion, and action. Many times we think one thing, feel another, and do something else entirely. This creates inner conflict and drains energy. Acting in coherence means treating every decision as a sacred act. You pause and ask, does this choice align with my higher self? When thought, feeling, and action move together, you step into powerful harmony. These 5 keys are not abstract. They are tools, simple, daily practices that shift you into 4D awareness. Each one opens the door a little wider, making it easier to step into the field where your higher self is already waiting. Once you begin using the keys of 4D thinking, something powerful happens. You realize the past isn't gone, and the future isn't far away. Both are alive in the field, and you have the ability to touch them from this very moment. Healing the past and creating the future aren't 2 separate processes. They happen together, like 2 sides of the same coin. Let's start with the past. In 3D thinking, the past feels like a locked box. Whatever happened, trauma, mistakes, regrets, seems fixed forever. But in 4D awareness, you understand that the past is still connected to you through energy and memory. This means you can revisit it, not to relive the pain, but to transform it. For example, imagine a childhood wound where you felt abandoned. In meditation or quiet reflection, you can step into that moment, not as the helpless child, but as your higher self. You bring comfort, love, and a new perspective into that memory. Neuroscience shows that memory is not a static recording. It's fluid, and every time you recall it, you can rewire the emotional imprint. What was once a source of pain can become a place of strength. Now let's look forward. In 3D, imagining the future often feels like daydreaming, something unreal. But in 4D, visualizing the future is not fantasy. It's tuning into a version of yourself that already exists. If you sit quietly and imagine your most awakened self, the way they walk, speak, love, and serve, you're not making it up. You're connecting with that timeline, and by doing so, you start to embody it here and now. Here's where it gets fascinating. Every choice you make becomes a fork in the road. Quantum physics and mysticism both suggest that each choice branches into different possible versions of you. In one path, you stay stuck in fear. In another, you awaken. In another, you thrive in ways you can't yet imagine. This isn't just theory, it's a lived reality. The question is, which version are you feeding with your thoughts and actions right now? Healing the past and creating the future aren't 2 separate practices. They're the same practice, aligning with your higher self across time. When you heal old wounds, you release energy that was trapped, and that energy fuels the creation of your best future. When you visualize your future self, you pull strength backward, which helps soothe the scars of your past. It's a dance that happens in both directions. This is why thinking in 4D is so transformative. It's not about running from what has happened or clinging to what might come. It's about recognizing that your soul already exists across time, and you have the power to heal backward and build forward, right here in the present moment. If healing the past and creating the future are about aligning with the field of time, then language is the tool we use to shape that field. Words are not just sounds, they are vibrations that carry energy. And every word you speak or even think becomes a kind of spell, programming the reality you live in. Think about how often we use phrases without realizing their power. I can't. I never. I'm always unlucky. Each time we repeat these, we lock ourselves into a lower frequency. These words act like chains, closing doors to higher possibilities. On the other hand, when you speak words like, I choose, I can, I am becoming, you open new pathways. Language is not just description, it's creation. Ancient traditions understood this. In the Bible, creation begins with sound. Let there be light. In Hindu philosophy, the sacred syllable Om is said to be the vibration from which all existence flows. Greek mystics spoke of the Logos, the divine word that shapes reality. Across cultures, the teaching is the same. Sound is the seed of creation. Modern science quietly supports this. Researchers studying sound frequencies have shown that vibration can change matter, shaping water, sand, even cells into new patterns. If external sound can do that, imagine what the vibration of your own words is doing to your body, your mind, and your future. In 4D thinking, language becomes part of your spiritual toolkit. Words are no longer casual, they are intentional. Instead of saying, I'm stuck, you say, I'm in transition. Instead of, I'll never change, you say, I'm learning and evolving. This isn't just positive thinking, it's energetic alignment. You are tuning your vibration to the frequency of your higher self. Here's a simple practice. Before speaking or writing, pause and ask, does this word expand me or limit me? That small shift creates awareness around language, and awareness is power. Over time, you'll notice your outer life reflecting the new vibrations of your inner voice. When you combine attention, intention, and action, you activate what could be called the 4D Trinity of manifestation. Attention is where your focus goes. Intention is the energy you plant behind it. Action is how you bring it into form. All three together turn words into reality. This is why language is sacred. It's not about being perfect with every word, but about realizing the influence they hold. Each phrase you speak is like a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. By now, you can see that 4D thinking is more than an idea. It's a way of living. And the most beautiful part of this practice is that it connects you directly to your higher self. But what does that really mean? Your higher self is the most awakened, whole version of you. It's the part of your soul that already sees beyond fear, beyond limitation, and beyond the illusions of 3D survival. In simple terms, it is you without the noise. It already exists in the 4D field, waiting for you to align with it. So, how do you know when you're beginning to awaken into your higher self? One of the first signs is the appearance of synchronicities. These are those meaningful coincidences that feel too precise to be random, like thinking of someone and they call you, or reading exactly the words you needed to hear at the right time. In 3D, you might dismiss these moments. In 4D, you recognize them as signals that you're tuning into the field. Another sign is living more in flow. Instead of pushing through life with constant struggle, things begin to connect more smoothly. The right people show up. Opportunities appear without force. It's not magic, it's alignment. When your vibration matches the higher field, life feels like it's carrying you rather than fighting against you. You'll also notice stronger intuitive nudges. That quiet voice inside, the gut feeling, becomes clearer. In 3D, we often drown it out with doubt or fear. But in 4D, intuition is the language of your higher self. The more you listen, the more it guides you toward choices that feel right, even if they don't always look logical on the surface. Contrast this with the ego. The ego lives in 3D. It clings to fear, control, and old identities. It says, don't take risks. Stay small, play safe. Your higher self, on the other hand, whispers from 4D awareness, you are more than this. Trust, expand. Remember who you are. Awakening is not about destroying the ego, but about no longer letting it run the show. This process is quiet. It's not about loud declarations or escaping from life. It's about a subtle revolution within you, a returning to the origin of your soul. You don't have to force an awakening. The more you practice 4D thinking, self-observation, intention, alignment, and language, the closer you draw to the higher self that's been waiting for you all along. Awakening in the 4D field is not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering the fullness of who you already are. And once you taste even a glimpse of that awareness, life will never look the same again. Every breath you take can be a portal. Every thought can be a prayer. Every action can be an offering. Awakening doesn't happen in some distant future. It happens now, in the choices you make, moment by moment. The question is simple. Now that you know how to think in 4D, will you choose to awaken your higher self? Or will you stay asleep in the illusion of 3D, repeating cycles that no longer serve you? The answer is yours to give. If you're ready to claim this path, share your resonance in the comments below. Write a short affirmation, a simple code, something only those who truly felt this message would understand. Let your words be the first spell of creation you cast today.